Hey guys, Hunter here with Foundation Disc Golf. Zach's behind the camera. We're out here at Liberty University East Campus Disc Golf Course. We're going to be doing a shot selection video. So basically we're going to walk you through what's going on in our minds when we're picking the shots that we're picking. To give you a little bit of a frame of reference, I'm a 960-ish rated player, and Zach's like an 895-ish rated player. We don't know the exact numbers, but they're in that range. So then you can hopefully kind of see how two different minds attack the course. He's also forehand dominant, I'm backhand dominant. Hole one, pretty straightforward. There's just a tight gap here, and then the basket's up there on the hill. For me, it's reachable with a putter, but whenever I'm in a tournament or a serious round, I always go with a flippy mid and just throw it on hyzer, because that's what I'm most comfortable with, hitting the gap, and I'm more worried about that than I am exactly where my shot ends up. So if I hit the gap, I'm gonna have a putt, and I always like to start my round off with a look at two, if not a two on this hole.
Alright guys, so Hunter just pured that gap. Obviously that's how, someone with a backhand could throw this hole, but I am forehand dominant, as Hunter said, and I'm actually going to go over the top. I did throw backhand just now during warm-ups and parked it with a putter. First time I've ever done that, but I'm going to try and go over the top. The reason why I do that is because there's a bigger chance I miss this small gap rather than making it over the trees and being relatively, closer to the basket. So that's why I would go over the top.
Alright, we're out here on hole two now. We're not going to shoot every hole. We're going to jump around a little bit, but hole two is a great one to kind of talk about shot selection. Basically what it is it's a shot that starts off pretty straight, but then is a pretty stiff anhyzer after that, and the basket's guarded by a lot of trees. So what I personally like to do is, when I'm on a tee, I try to look at where I want to make my mistake. Basically, if I'm going to mess up, where do I want to mess up? In this hole, I want to mess up right. So instead of throwing the shot that could always get me there, if I hit it perfect, which is a more stable mid that I just throw and let it flatten, I'm going to go with a flippy mid, which will let me release it flat or a little bit of anhyzer and hopefully hit that right gap. And once I hit the right gap, I should be able to get to circle's edge or so and give myself a chance at two. I didn't make my mistake right.
Alright, here in hole two, this hole makes me think a lot because there is a hard shot right here to the right, which you can take this small gap and throw a forehand, but the odds are I'm not going to hit it perfectly. So what I do, even back when I didn't throw backhands, and I only throw a few now, I take a flippy mid, just like Hunter was saying, try and hit it on some ante, and try and miss right. If you go down left, there is a gully down there, hard to get up and down for your par, even a bogey sometimes. So I'm going to throw the same shot that Hunter just did.
Alright, so in general, I'm a rather somewhat conservative player off the tee, and I'm a very aggressive player when it comes to scrambling. So my disc kicked over here, I'm behind this cluster of trees. There's a few different shots I can choose from. I'm going to just walk you through my mindset into why I'm picking the one I'm picking. So the safest shot is always, across the board, going to be getting back to the fairway and then letting your disc fly. For me, that's a big anhyzer out into the open of the fairway here, trying to get it back over. But on this particular shot, I think that's going to be a very hard angle to hit to get it back within a comfortable putting range. Whereas I have this more aggressive low line that I can throw with a forehand and try to get it kind of skipped over within 15 to 20 feet. The only other option, which I think is a very dumb option, is to straddle out and have a little bit more opening on that side of the tree. But I'm not going to mess with that. In a tournament, the shot that I would pick is a low forehand on a little bit of hyzer. A little bit more risky, but I'm trying to make sure I have an easy tap-in three to kind of get my round going again after messing up a tee shot. just like that. So we're on hole 5. It's a par 4. It plays through this tight gap out to the right into that opening. The road is OB, and then it just plays up and around. It's a very tight technical hole, but if you hit the tee shot right, it's a very simple 3. So basically why I want to talk about this hole is I play very aggressive off the tee here, especially for my play style, for one reason, and it's just because hitting this gap, I'm a lot more comfortable trying to hit this gap with power on hyzer than I am trying to throw a finesse shot to the bottom of the hill to set up a second shot. So with that being said, what I do is I just take a flippy driver. This is my H2 V2. I throw it on hyzer, I let it kind of flip up and glide and hopefully get me out there to a jump putt or easy putter upshot. But in general, whenever there's a gap like this, I just, for me, pick the shot that I'm most confident in it and most comfortable with, even if that means an overly aggressive shot that for most players would probably be stupid. It's just the one that I feel safest with hitting this gap.
Alright guys, here we are on another hole that is going to be hard for the forehand. I'm going to throw the forehand layup though, because I think that I can hit that more than I could just a regular backhand shot. And the aggressive forehand is really risky because the road then comes into play with something that you release a little too high. Hopefully I can get down to the bottom of the hill to set up my second shot, but that's why I would throw the layup.
Alright, so we're jumping over from hole 5, we're on to hole 8 now. Basically holes 6 and 7 are really straightforward shots. Hole 8 though, you've got this initial gap straight ahead, then the basket's a little bit to the right. And once you hit this straight ahead gap, you know, there's a few different holes that your disc can go through. So that always makes shot selection a little interesting here because you either have to pick a gap or pick a tree to aim at or whatever. What I do is I just pick the disc that I feel like I can hit this initial gap with, and then I can trust the disc to fly the way I want it to get me inside the circle. Again, when I'm on the tee, I'm always thinking getting myself a look for birdie, but that doesn't mean parking it always. You know, right now I would be very happy with anything like 30 feet left of the basket and in, because that's kind of where I'm aiming with this shot. It should kind of flip up straight, maybe glide a little bit right. And then I'm trying to get near that dark tree in the center, and maybe a little bit right of it is kind of where I'm hoping this disc will end up when it gets down there. I am going with a putter. I used to throw a mid on this hole. Only reason I'm not is that mid's not in my bag anymore. I like throwing a mid because of the fact that it's uphill behind the basket and I can just punch it into that, you know, background, not worry about going far past. And I like being able to have the confidence of a mid off a tee, but disc flight's a little bit more important than my initial confidence when it comes to a shot like this, so I'm going with a beat up putter. So as I was talking about, that's the exact tree that I was aiming for. I was hoping to go a little right of it. I hit it, it kicked left. Practice rounds, you know, it's okay to throw a second, you know, try to get close to the basket, see where you can change things, but always play your shots that kick off the fairway. Because in a tournament, I'd have to go down there, and it's good to work on your scramble game, especially in a practice round when I can go throw several from down there. So, yeah, I'm going to go down there, and I'll walk you through kind of what goes through my head there. But let's see what Zach chooses on this hole.
All right, after Hunter just told a 10-page story, I don't have that much to say because I might bore you. I'm going to throw a forehand, again, simply because I think that's what I can hit this initial gap with. I'm going to throw this Buzz West flat. Hopefully it just misses those trees that Hunter was talking about. But really, off these shots, you want to just hit your initial gap, and, you know, when it comes to the small gaps up there, it's not much that you can do about it. So I did throw that shot a little bit inside, but I think if I did get it flat, it could have gotten there. But yeah, again, just like Hunter said, carry more than one of the same disc so you can practice more, throwing those shots more than once.
Well, not too much to say about scrambling. I'm standing in a tree graveyard of everything that would have made this shot hard. So, yeah, since it's like that, I'm just gonna throw a little Nova upshot and try to be close. Alright, so we're on hole 10. This is going to be the last hole in the video because after this the course really just opens up and becomes a lot more straightforward. You have a pretty long par 4 here. It goes right, straight, and then left at the end. So you have two options off the tee really. A forehand that is just a layup shot, or you can throw a backhand that's a little bit more aggressive. As a backhand dominant player, I'm going to go with the more aggressive line. So for me, that just means straight to flippy buzz on Anheuser, throwing about as hard as I can to try to get down there for either a jump putt or at least an easy approach for a 3. Oh no.
Alright, so usually on this hole, I would just throw the easy layup forehand because it mostly guarantees you that 3 and definitely the 4. But here during a practice round, and I really want to work on that backhand and different kind of shots, I'm going to take something flippy, try and hit this gap on some hyzer, and then this should flip over and ride a little bit to the right. Hopefully I don't throw it on too much, like too flat or on too much ante because then it'll roll. But hopefully just going to try and hit this on some hyzer, it'll flip over into the gap, and hopefully it rides through.
Alright, so off the tee I got a little bit high, a little bit wide, which kicked me back here into basically the worst spot you can be on this hole, which is just early left. I don't have really anything that gives me hope of a 3. So what I'm going to do here is I have a few different options. I think what I'm going to go with is a forehand kind of wide of the tree with the arrow on it in front of me. Go wide right of that on some ante and hopefully let it kind of flatten and get down there where I can have an easy approach, or maybe if I pure it I can get a putt. But in a situation like this, I'm not hoping to save my 3. I'm just hoping to get down there and scramble for a par basically. Alright, didn't put a ton of power on it, so it didn't turn out, didn't turn over quite as well. But because I went with the safer route back in the fairway like I was talking about, you know, where I said earlier, throwing it to the fairway and letting it ride, it is in the middle and I should be able to still save a 4.
Alright, so I did put that on a little bit more angle than I wanted to. I still got down to the basket, hyzered out pretty hard. Maybe like 70 feet away, something like that. But now it's an easy 3, but I'm going to go ahead and give this a run for a scoop. Oh. All right, gave it a good run, but it's a tap-in 3. Hey guys, hope you liked this video. If you haven't already, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget about our Instagram and Facebook, as well as our Patreon link down below. Our Patreon is $5 a month. It gets you exclusive content, as well as sometimes a giveaway like a mini, and early access to discs that we could be dropping, just like the Crystal Raptors, and you don't want to miss out on that, as well as our email list. You can sign up below, and that'll give you access as well to when we're going to drop discs. See you guys next time. Hey guys, hope you liked this video. If you haven't already... Hey guys, hope you liked... Hey guys, we hope you'd enjoy. We hope you'd enjoy?
I don't know.
Go ahead and gives it a thumbs up. Go ahead and gives it a thumbs up. As for Patreon, it's about $5 a month. No, it's not about $5 a month. It is $5 a month.
You feel better?
Yep.